Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to some Club 100 heavyweight sprint action from Ellough Park. A circuit where there just seems to be corner after corner after corner. It's relentless, but we're getting straight into Heat 1, where we see a gap open up on the inside in front of Mo Hassan and slip in behind Kurt Holmes. 3-ish wide on the exit momentarily, but don't get the best of drives. Weren't able to keep the momentum, but we do try to slot it up the inside of Steve Lindley. A little bit of contact, we try to give a bit of room on the exit, and that gives us the outside for the hairpin, but we've managed to get a slightly better drive off the corner, and also managed to follow Kurt Holmes through as he made his overtaking manoeuvre, managed to follow through owing to the car in front, slightly compromised entry into the corner. Now tried to go up the inside of the sort of hairpin-ish chicane, but with Kurt being in front, it meant there wasn't really enough room to carry an overspeed into the corner. We have to slot back in behind as the driver in front of us ends up with better drive off the corner than we do, and we have to have a think about where we might do that again. You might see us going a little bit wide around the last corner, well, last proper corner. The right-hander is technically the last corner, but we were given that by the clerk of the course for track limit, so you'll see a lot of people sort of running quite wide there, but it's all kosher. We were allowed to do that, and again we tried to have a look at the inside going to that corner, but it's not Kurt Holmes this time, but it's another driver in front who basically means that there's no room for us to be able to throw it up the inside and keep that momentum going. But we are able to use that track limits that's given to us to sort of maintain our momentum around the outside of the final left-hander and get ourselves a position and a bit of clear track in front of us. Now this double right-hander, not quite as bad as it was last year. Last year it was really quite tricky to get right, but this year slightly better, although holding on to the position there from Mo Hassan was definitely not slightly better, as he throws it up the inside of the hairpin. Nice clean move there by Mo, and we tried to slot him behind. There's still a fair little gap in front of us, so I wasn't worried about trying to take back the position too quickly, and as it turned out it would be difficult to take back that position anyway. Mo was using his kart to good effect in this one. Gets it a little bit wrong coming out that last corner, but we sort of tuck him behind, go to push him on the straight. Signals for us to sort of work together and get going, but kind of defend going into the first corner, which wasn't necessarily necessary. I was quite happy to sort of see if I could push him along at this point and break down that gap in front, so no real need to defend there, but either way we'll continue on here. We can see that he's broken up, he hasn't broken up at all. He's pulled out a slight gap in front of us at the moment, and I sort of felt like I had slightly better cornering speed, but just didn't quite have the acceleration of the corners that Mo did. But that is what it is in Club 100 racing. You don't always get the one that picks up exactly how you'd want it, and you have to learn to drive around it. As we come up behind Simon Dean, I think this is, who's running well at the moment. I think this will be about for 6th place, I think this is. And we go for that move up the inside. A little bit of contact, I think got caught out a little bit there. Simon was sort of positioning in the middle of the road and got on the brakes a little bit earlier than I was expecting. There was a little tap, but not enough to cause super undue distress there, and we managed to slot that up into what would be P6, and you can see there the gap to Mo and the driver in front of him has been made bigger, and so we need to try and use the next few laps to break that down and see if we can be in a position on the last lap or so to maybe gain 1 or 2 more positions. Now Mo managed to get himself past, so it will just be the one position if we come through the last few corners of this first heat, and it's going to have to be a really nice run through this 180 degree corner here, and we're going to keep it hard towards the left hand side and throw it up and try and get alongside. But as we know, we've got the track limits given to us there, so the driver on the outside was able to keep it pinned and carry that momentum, and it's just enough to keep 5th place for him, 6th place for me, and that will move us on to heat number 2, where we'll be starting on pole, and this will be one that I'd want to try and capitalise on if possible, but we've got a very speedy Adam Wright along with other drivers behind us, and so this was a game of run away as quickly as possible and then see what we can do towards the end of the race. And to start off with, it seems to be going well. Managed to keep first as we go across the start line through the first few corners, and we can see that Adam has followed us through there from third. Now, make a bit of a mistake going into the hairpin, and that would prove a little bit costly, because it means that the run through this now fast left, right, and then down into the hairpinny chicane. I should probably learn the corner names, but I'm going to call it the hairpinny chicane. Was a bit compromised, and having pulled out a little bit of a gap, that mistake allowed Adam to sort of get a little bit closer to the point where he would then be in a position to take advantage of any other mistakes that happened to come his way. But after the first lap, managed to keep it in first. Little look over the shoulder to get a gauge of who's behind and where. We can see Adam, and then there missing the apex through turn one again. It's not the cleanest of first few laps, and Adam would be getting these corners better than I, which means that coming down into this hairpin, he's in a good position to put it late on the brakes. We tried to come back at him by sort of saw him come in, so tried to get the better exit, but wasn't able to. And from this point, it'll just be a case of, okay, well, let's see if can keep it close, push him along a little bit, make it a two-horse race, and have a go on the last couple of laps. So you can see there me just sort of bump drafting him down towards this complex here, basically telling him, like, look, let's just see if we can push on. But as we go across the start-finish line to end lap number 2, you can see there's a little bit of a gap that's built up, and that's about just under half a second, and that's pretty much how this one would stay for the duration. Adam would make a mistake here or there, and I'd gain it. I'd make a mistake here or there, and he'd get the time back. And so it'd end up being a P2 finish. So we've had a P6 and a P2 so far, and that would take us into heat number 3, where we're starting 8th on the outside of the grid. First few corners being right-handers, it's not the ideal place to be, but you're going to see what we could do. We've got a reasonably stacked grid in this one as well. You can see Alex Pritchard on the inside there. We've got Steve Lindley. We've got a handful of other very quick drivers in this one as well. All gets a little bit condensed going down towards the double right. We've got Elliot Alt stuck on the outside. We're sort of stuck in the middle, and then the outside, trying to keep it as tight as possible to not allow those drivers on the inside to maintain that momentum and possibly do what we did in the first heat. And going down through the hairpin, just wasn't able to get the drive, and we had to surrender that place coming out. So overall, I think I gained on that first exchange, the first few corners, but we'll not settle there and try and push on. I think that's Alexander Lammin in front, I think. I'm sorry if it's not, and if it is, then fantastic. But you can see it's getting very, very fighty as we got a lot of karts following up behind us. So any mistake from us would lead to a lot of positions lost. So it's very much a case of trying to keep the eyes forward and really push on, make these places. We've got another driver being hung out to dry. I think that's Tom Edwards, and this isn't going to be good news for him, because he's, if you were watching the live stream, it's, as I say, a string of karts, and if you got stuck on the outside, it was just a case of waving everybody through practically. So managed to get another position there, and we've got the very speedy Miguel Hall pushing us along at this point. So it's very much a case of I've got to keep making moves, otherwise Miguel's going to get impatient and he's going to send it. So you can see it's getting a little bit messy again here. Kind of got stuck in two minds whether they wanted to go inside or outside. Go around the inside of the driver there, but that allows Miguel to get a better drive through the corner. Steve, I think, got not brake checked, but I think he got caught out by the driver in front going a bit slow, so he checked up, bumped into the back of Steve, and that allowed Miguel to carry that momentum around the outside in the final corner, and he jumped us. Now it's roles reversed. Can we follow Miguel through on moves? We've got Lenny Wood here. He's going out. He decides to fight another day. Goes around the outside, but rejoins the circuit. Nearly could have been an interesting rejoin there, but it looked worse on the live stream than it was in real life, as you could sort of see it coming a little bit. And Lenny wasn't able to quite get it slowed down enough, so we were able to slot it out the inside going through the hairpin. But that's another position for us. It doesn't matter how you get them, as long as you're moving forwards. And Miguel looks to be lining up Steve now for a move down in towards the hairpin. Can we try and get the exit? No, Steve's able to sort of keep it on the apex, and that prevents us from getting the cut underneath going down towards this fast left-right. It's a fun little complex, this. As I say, it's a pretty relentless circuit, Ellough Park. It just seems to be corner after corner. But Steve gets caught up on Miguel's bumper, and that hurts his momentum. We're able to keep ours round the outside going into the 183 corner, and from this point it was just a case of pushing Miguel as hard as we could, trying to push him into a mistake, but one didn't really come. There was a slight opportunity towards the end of the race where I might be able to get him into that same corner, but as you see here and here, not quite on, wasn't able to get the drive out the first corner to make that move stick, or really be on rather. Going into the double right-hander, you've got to be pretty alongside the person in front. And as I say, there maybe was a chance late in the race, but I didn't quite take it. I was thinking about setting it up, and it kind of appeared earlier than I thought, which would result in another missed opportunity for the second place in heat number 3.
Joe Holmes has won every single round so far, and he finds himself on pole position. But he has got his work cut out. We've already seen him have to fight today for heat wins. How's this one going to play out? 12 minutes on the clock. Away we go for our A final here at Ellough Park in the heavyweight sprints.
So starting 9th in the A final, as you can see from the kind of reverse angle here, there's a lot of loading going into the first corner. Overall in the weekend it had been pretty clean, but was getting a lot of push in the back, which forced me into Alex in front, and it all got very messy. Overall, I mean, we came out of it kind of all right, but it's not really what you want to see. There's Tim Williams go for a spin, and that's Joe Holmes having to take evasive action around the outside of Tim, and he'd end up falling down right down the field to 11th place, having started first on the A final grid. It would be a big comeback drive for Joe, and we've managed to luck out here. Managed to survive the loading in turn 1, came out of that all right, and we benefited there from Tim having a spin as Joe got caught up in that as well. And we're behind Adam Wright, our battle buddy from Heat 2. We've got Adam Nather, who we know is always quick, and this is almost the repeat at this stage of the really fun battle towards the end of the GYGA final. Hopefully this time it'll be myself coming out on top rather than Adam Wright, but we see Adam Nather trying to set up the move going down towards the hairpin, and we'd look to try and take advantage if it comes.
Now Adam Wright versus Adam Nather there over third place, and Tim Penny's getting involved as well.
So side by side going down towards the fast left-hand corner, and it's just a case of getting in behind Adam and pushing him through, and that would leave Adam Nather stuck on the outside where there was very little grip. Now going through this right-hander here, had the chance to try and go and get a better exit, but it meant I got stuck on the outside, didn't quite get the exit I wanted, and that allowed Adam Nather to get that good drive in towards the last corner, and he retakes that position. So it's pretty much as you were at the end of lap number 2, and we'll have to see what can be done this time. Now going down towards this same hairpin, we've got Adam Wright looking to go a bit defensive. Probably didn't need to, there was enough of a gap, but that allows Adam Nather and myself to get a bit of a better drive coming out the corner.
Adam Wright is versus Adam Nather off the hairpin. Has Adam Nather got the momentum to take himself through? Adam Wright's going to keep his foot in it. Tim Penny going for the double move into the hook, and it's side by side as well, and that's going to push Adam Nather out wide. It's not just that Jacob Harris was involved there as well coming through. It's all changed from third place down to about 7th. We'll have to call it as they come through, but it looks to me like Tim Penny has come to the fore in that particular battle.
I tell you what, that was a hell of a satisfying move to pull off. I mean, on anyone, but especially two guys that we had such a great battle with in GYG, and we know are quick, and to be able to sort of make a double pass there, 3 wide going into the chicane was really, really satisfying. Had a massive grin on the face from that, and it meant that put us up into 3rd place. And at this point, it was just a case of trying to hunt down Kurt Holmes. We had Carl Walker, who'd kind of buggered off at the front, and his pace, as was last year, was just too much to try and handle. But 10th by 10th each lap, we were breaking it down on Kurt. He'd pick up a little bit here and there, and then I'd manage to get it back. And I think on average, maybe about a 10th a lap quicker, and it would mean that coming onto the last lap, we were within striking distance if Kurt was going to make a mistake. This particular section of the lap, I was feeling a lot more confident on, I think. Well, not to say that Kurt wasn't confident, but I really felt like that's where I was gaining most of the time, through the right-hander and then coming onto the straight. And I spoke to Kurt afterwards, and he was saying that every time he looked after his shoulder after the left-hand hairpin in the infield, you could just see it breaking it down, and it was it was a fun little battle, even though there wasn't side-by-side action necessarily for it. Like, the chase was really good fun. So just trying to eke it out here and there, trying to push into the corners, just trying to make up any sort of half a tenth that I can to possibly in a position to throw it at the inside on one of the last few corners. But at the same time, I was conscious that this would be not only my first C1 podium, but a legitimate third overall. And that was in the back of my mind. There was a decent gap to Joe behind, who'd had a hell of a comeback drive through the field, and it got to the point where towards the end of the lap, it was just a case of, you know what, it doesn't look like it's going to be on. I just want to bring this third place home. And with a bit of luck at the start and a fun but assertive and decisive move, that's exactly what happened. So catching up with Kurt, a bit of a fist bump there. And as I say, talking to him afterwards, he said he was pushing hard, which is nice to hear. I was pushing hard to try and catch up with him. And it means that overall, fourth now in the championship behind Adam Nather. Still got Kurt and Joe out in front. And congratulating Carl on another Ellough Park win. He needs to stop coming to Ellough Park. Let someone else have a go. But thanks very much for watching. And until next time, as always, have a good one.